here, but we're hanging in there.
Let's see if we can make it crazier. We left off. We had guns blasting and had a big cliffhanger where we hadn't yet seen what happened with the bullets.
Yeah, and your game has become a Tarantino movie.
Not enough blood yet.
Not enough fuck in it either.
No. I don't think any of us has dropped any racial slurs at this point.
No, I could
because we're not playing with any goddamn wops.
They're the worst. Yeah. I'm glad that you started broadcast before that.
Yes, absolutely. Jessica and I really don't talk about the game outside of the game. That way we're not like shaping things. But just a few moments ago, she asked a question, and I thought it was a good question to hang on to until we were all sitting together. What was your question?
So basically, the question was that since guns are already ablazing, is it too late to try to protect somebody?
Right. So players have a hunter move called protect someone.
Okay.
And you can throw that out when I indicate there's danger incoming. You can try and come up with a way like I'm going to throw myself in front of them or use magic to create a shield in front of them or do something to try and protect them. My short, sweet answer to that, which we can actually negotiate pretty much everything in the game because it's all a dialogue. But the quick and short answer is no, you can't try and protect someone yet. And the reason is that just like the players have a list of moves that they're doing, as the keeper, as the dungeon master keeper, whatever I am, I also have a list of moves that I'm referencing, that I'm following, and one of them is to deal harm. When when the keeper, the DM makes moves, they have two categories: soft moves and hard moves. Soft moves is I tell you something's about to happen, something's underway, and you have a chance to try and intervene and stop it. So the monster reaches out with a whip and cracks the whip in your direction. What are you going to do about it? That's a soft move. Okay. I do a hard move. That's when the thing is happening. There's no chance to mitigate it through your own moves. Dealing damage, that's the move. And one way to really help a keeper decide whether a soft or hard move is incoming, when you roll a 6 or less, when you have a miss on your die, one of the strong suggestions is to do a hard move. So I've decided in this instance to hard move and have the shots are fired and we resolve the gunshots before you have a chance to kind of interact. So kind of because it's following on the tail of your 6 minuses, then I'm deciding to move hard against you all. However, I also am a dick, right? And part of how I want to resolve this is we kind of pick back up in the scene where the Daria, the enforcer for Federico de la Grossa, she has pointed a 380 at Sam, and she has pointed a 357 at Atticus. And her plan is just to kind of fire on both of you without hesitation. She's going to try and take you both down. As she's kind of bringing her guns to bear, Atticus brings his weapon up and points it at her daughter, who's kind of pressed up against the inside of the plate glass, kind of watching the frozen or the exploded remains of the frog as it kind of still bubbles and is just messy and generally gross in the area. She's pressed up against the window, eyes wide, mouth agape. She hasn't even really noticed that her mom is pointing weapons at the two of you. Definitely doesn't see this gun coming to bear on her. The others are huddled in another window. They were at a separate table. They're kind of variably taking in different aspects of the scene, all of them freaking out. And of course, Manon, the waiter with the broken wrist, is standing in the doorway, and he's just generally yelling like, "Get down!" at everybody. Like he just knows like you yell "Get down" when guns are at play. But he's also standing there like bullets flying. He's gonna get hit possibly too. So this whole scene, like nobody's quite being mindful except the three of you. You've pulled your gun. she just says amateurs, and she's going to go shoot, and she can tell that you're not quite necessarily on target or sure what you're doing. She knows you're trying to intimidate her. I think it's clear from her expression she thinks that you're not willing to shoot at a child, and so both of her guns go off. Your gun goes off like immediately after, and like there's just enough time to register surprise on her face that you actually shot at her kid, and she's fucking pissed. And then I think everything slows down. That we're already buried in the fog, which tends to dull sounds and things like that. But it slows down. It goes to that whole black and white kind of overlay. The bullets are just inching along, and you get the whole ripple effect, like the Matrix, the sonic expansion around them as they fly through the air. And the voices come back, and they say, "Sammy, Sammy, Sammy, you turned us down. You would not tap these powers around you, but we are kind." I think they're referring to themselves in we. I just kind of made that up. Is that okay? Are they a plurality, Jessica?
Yeah, they can have the royal we.
Okay, or a royal we. Okay. We are kind, and we wish to help you. Three lie before the path of these torrents of death. We shall let you save 2. Choose your 2. And kind of the camera's focus pulls back from Samantha as she's hearing this, and like gets behind the bullet that's streaming her way. And then it turns sharply, and it kind of chases the bullet streaming toward Atticus, and it kind of overtakes that, and then it turns back toward the girl whose name we haven't yet learned, and it sees the bullet kind of headed her way, and it's kind of maybe going a little bit off course, and then we just see it kind of wobble unnaturally and point right back to her. Like even if you were about to miss, like the dark powers that influence or try to guide Samantha have like nudged it. It's like all 3 of these bullets are about to hit targets. And you can save any 2 of the 3 from getting struck. What does Samantha do?
Well, I guess it would be. Is there any way that I could probably reject their offer?
Oh, absolutely. You could just refuse to choose with a kind of presumption that they just won't intervene at all. Or you could choose 1 or demand to choose all 3. Yeah, what does your rejection look like? Like just kind of play out in the moment. How does Samantha dialogue? What does it look like when you talk to them? Because you're like in a slowed time, but you probably act and move normally within this time, right? You just can't get out of the way of that bullet. Or maybe even if you try and step aside, it like turns toward you, like it tracks you.
Okay, so then in this scenario, they're talking to me, and I guess we're going through a bargaining fight of where I tell them that I refuse their offer, and maybe they're trying to encourage me to take it up.
Yeah. So what does that encouragement look like? The bolts maybe the time speeds up for just a second, and then it freezes again or slows down, like as the bullets are now just like maybe a couple feet from target.
Yeah.
And they want to put the pressure.
Yeah. Your bargain means nothing to me. I'd rather see what plays out. I've avoided you once. I can avoid you again. Just because I know you're here and you want me, that doesn't mean that you're going to get me so easily. So
nice. Look real quick before look at the move the dark side. It says I can ask you to do nasty things in accordance with your tags. So I'm going off a dark bargain. When the powers need you to. If you do it, mark experience. If you don't, then your powers are unavailable until the end of the mystery or until you cave. And so what we'd have at risk here would be telepathy, hex, and the sight. You would keep your other new move, Mystic Library, but you would lose those 3. You can still use magic, you just wouldn't have hexes available. You'd lose the sight, you'd lose telepathy. And it's fine to do that. Like, it won't make Samantha unplayable, but it'll change what you can do. So I think it's cool that you choose to reject them, but just keep in mind that that's the carrot and stick that we use to try and get you to do what they're saying.
Fuck.
If you want to stick with the response of like rejecting them, like if that's what Samantha would do, that's absolutely fine. We'll cut you off from the sight, telepathy, and hex, and we'll make your choice interesting. Like we're not going to try and like penalize you as a player from having fun. It just things get different and maybe a little bit harder for Samantha.
No, let's continue with the rejecting it.
Okay. So what's your kind of final word of rejection where you're no longer bargaining or entertaining? I think you say something and then everything snaps back and the bullets hit. What does that look like? Or what do you say?
It's probably my father's name.
Picked up my pencil for this one.
I guess.
I like that.
Huh? It's probably like on my father's grave. No. Arnold. I guess with that one word, they know that like they can't sway me.
I'm kind of reading into it. Maybe I don't know. I'm picturing like you're almost like angry or frustrated at Arnold. Is there an element to that to it, or are you like asking him for guidance, or what's your emotional connection to Arnold in this moment?
Anger.
Like
anger and frustration.
His kind of dark influence is what put these assholes on you to have you in this position. Yeah. So everything snaps back in. You always have like the low level kind of like you can hear other minds in the area, just even if you're not trying. Like that goes quiet and it's deafening to you in the moment. Even though your ears are ringing from the gunshots, you just feel like this numbness, this disconnection from all the minds that you're just not used to. The sight, I don't think there have been any particular. I haven't really used your sight this time around. I should have with like the portal and stuff around you. But yeah, everything just kind of disappears. Probably everything kind of comes into almost dulls. Like you have a real sharp relief as you see like the marks of spirits and passage of energies over the buildings and everything around. It all just kind of gets less bright, less vibrant to you. And then the bullet impacts, it strikes you in the chest. It hurts. And we cut over to Atticus. You take this bullet, I think in the gut. She's shooting her 3d7 for 3 harm. You do have the option always of spending luck to avoid all harm from a wound, or else you're going to take the 3 harm. Do you have any armor?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to take 3 harm as it strikes you in the gut, unless you want to mitigate it with luck.
And what else can I use luck for?
If you look at I think it's the second page of, let me open it up here. Show to players.
Oh, here we
Top
go.
right. Decrease a wound you have suffered to 0 harm. After you roll, retroactively change the result to a 12. You will never get luck back, with a caveat that your playbook advanced moves can give you access to additional luck.
So there's no way I could use my luck to mitigate the harm to the kid.
No, you could. Oh, wait. Decrease a wound you have suffered to 0 harm. No, I think we could have used luck to turn your 6 that turned into this event into a 12 and stopped everybody from shooting. but we didn't do it then, so it's too late to do that now.
All right.
Grease, a wound you have suffered to harm is your harm. I don't think so. I'm intrigued. So you're not talking about using it to save yourself. You're talking about keeping the bullet from hitting her. I'm intrigued by that choice. You know, I'm almost wondering, would the dark powers turn the bullet toward her? Like you had kind of missed your shot and they turned it toward her? I wonder if there'd be an option. Would it be within Atticus's character to use magic to try and stop that? Or would it be interesting narratively?
I mean, I don't know that
Atticus like shoot her.
I don't know that you would consciously use magic to do it. Like he's kind of superstitious of magic. At least, you know, like that's kind of, I don't know.
How about this? And I don't know if this is interesting to you for Atticus or not. But perhaps when you use magic, like we've learned last week last session that Samantha has like shame as part of her magic.
Mm-hmm.
She has to dance the Macarena and regret it as part of her spell. Perhaps like you have this, is it regret, or what's your emotional state after you've fired? Like you realize you're about to hit the kid.
Yeah, I mean, he probably heard the gunshot from Daria and just fired. And the first thought in his head was, oh shit. Like, just, I don't think anybody wants to shoot a kid.
So maybe it's not that you're actively casting a spell, but maybe you just like a projection of like will, of just regret. Like, I wish I hadn't done that. Maybe you could use magic, not that you're intentionally sitting down to do a spell, but just the exertion of Atticus Silver's will is so strong that like he'll never admit it's magic, but like sometimes the dice fall his way because he just really wills it to happen.
And so I would be able to potentially use luck to get the chance to make a weird check to do that.
I would say that you could do a weird check without using luck, and then if the check doesn't go well, you could use luck to get that up to a +12 or to a 12.
Okay.
So it wouldn't cost luck initially. You just have to roll the die initially.
Okay. I'm going to roll the die then for magic, and let me just look at the magic thing, to see what I'm doing here.
Second page, the same page that had luck on it.
Yep. So effects. I guess this would be to do one thing that's beyond human limitations.
Yeah, like minor telepathy type things.
Yep. Okay, so I'll roll. Okay, I'll roll. Because my weird is awesome. -1. What'd I get?
So you got a 7. You rolled an 8. Oh wait, no, you had a -1 in there already. Yeah, so you have an 8 on the die. There's nothing Sam can do at this point to get you up to a 10, so there's no benefit there. We look real quick at what you need to do.
So there's a glitch.
You're trying to get the effect of doing things beyond human limitations. I do think that the spell requires chanting and gestures, and the way that I'm picturing it, and I just want you to describe how Silver's doing it. You know, when playing Super Mario Brothers back in the old 8-bit Nintendo, and you like when you jump, you kind of hit the button and raise the thing, and like you're running that way, or you're turning the car. Like, is there something you're doing to steer the bullet? Like, like you're like, oh shit! Yeah, what's your gesture that works?
He's probably got the gun pointed, and he's like, like he's like kind of like waving his hand to the side to, like Angelina Jolie style, like curve the bullet.
There you go. So I think Silver doesn't see it, right? He may or may not acknowledge it, but the audience sees like a tug, and the bullet gets nudged a little bit, and it starts tumbling, but it's still kind of on a direction to the girl. And then you tug it a little bit further, and it tumbles, and then you like one more little tug, and it's like a little fishing line tied to the end of it, just pulls it off course. It smashes through the glass. She gets rained on with broken glass, but like none of it's going to cut her. Choose a glitch. You get to choose the glitch.
Do I get to choose it, or do you choose it?
Yeah. It works imperfectly. 7 to 9. It works imperfectly. Choose your effect and a glitch. So you choose it. I will decide what effect the glitch has.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Now you've already got 3 harm incoming from the bullet hitting you.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I ignore the harm, I'm almost dead. Or if I take an additional harm. Let's say that it draws immediate unwelcome attention.
Okay. Let's look real quick at what your harm is.
Well, when I mark the 3, I'm at 5 harm, so I'm two away from nastiness.
Oh, that dart, the bullet that's always there, that counts as number 4. So if you're at 5 harm, you should be in the check to the. There you go.
All right.
And so 8 and above is dying. So at 5 harm, what you get there is, and you should be able to look at the harm move. 4 to 7 harm wounds are serious and unstable. They will get worse unless treated. Mark the unstable box. So there's a box unstable just below harm.
Okay.
What that does is it reminds us that you're wounded. So you're bleeding out. Your gut shot. You've got kind of blood pouring out of this wound. I think you're going to also just go to my playbook here.
How much harm did I get for my...
She had a 380 point at you, a 2 harm coming into you. We'll come back and resolve your harm in just a moment. I just wanted to, after your choice, I wanted to focus on him and see what he was doing. So he's kind of gut shot. I think your blood is pouring out of an open wound as your heart beats, like it kind of gushes out in little bits, and just intense pain. She's using some sort of a round that not just like a mushrooming hollow point, but something that's designed to split apart. They hydroshock is one of them. Like the bullet kind of like tears apart and it's ripped up your insides. These things are designed to kill even with like a glancing shot, and you took one straight through center mass.
Awesome.
So you're fucking hurt and bleeding out. It's not like in D&D where like you lose 1 hit point per turn, but as you undertake like strenuous actions and stuff, you might take another harm.
Okay.
And then of course you can find ways to try and mitigate that. Use magic can heal 1 point, for instance, or you might find a first aid kit or something. So yeah, we see you kind of gut shot. You recognize that she's not hit. You may or may not recognize your own agency in it, but you see that you've missed her, that you have not shot the child. What's Atticus's like expression seeing that and torn with pain?
Well, really quickly, how did the glitch resolve?
What did you choose for glitch?
The magic draws immediate unwelcome attention.
Okay, yeah. I don't think like Atticus doesn't see that immediately, but I had mentioned before there were two Morphorghemoths kind of showing up on the scene, like shadows in the shadow. I think what happens is as you kind of affect magic, I think that kind of summons their attention onto you. And I think one of them kind of leaps up and lands maybe on top of the RV, and it kind of crunches down under its weight just a little bit, like on the canopy of the passenger cabin portion. Like you hear like creaking, a little bit of twisting and tearing metal as it kind of crunches down on there, and it's like sitting right over you since you were inching or moving toward the RV as you were shooting. It's like right over you, and it opens up its big toothy maw, and its tongue kind of lolls out a little bit, and it's about to try and grab you. That's kind of what we see happening to you as you attract that attention.
And so I see that as well.
Yeah, I think yeah. Let's give you you kind of see that coming in, but let's cut to Sam because like as the bullet hits you, she's also getting hit. But you can be prepared for that, or Samantha might work with you on that. We'll see what happens.
Let's just really quickly. Let's just say as I get hit with the bullet, I sort of like tumble backwards, and I sort of sigh in relief that I didn't hit the kid, and then cut away.
Okay. Yeah. So your relief, and maybe that's when like you tumble against the RV, and like you look up just to see like the tongue like dripping down. Okay. And Sam, you got shot, I think, in the chest. Is that what I said? Maybe like the chest shoulder area. Bullet strikes you.
Yeah.
And these are just probably hollow point. Like they probably break a bone. I think on 1 to 4 damage. I think it hits your shoulder, and with the impact, you don't know if anything's broken, but your hand spasms open and the gun tumbles to your feet. The gun is still enchanted for the frogs. It should work on these as well as the one you killed, but it kind of tumbles to your feet, and you take the 2 harm against you, unless you want to luck away from that. And remember, as you spend luck, your dark powers are going to become meaner and meaner in what they expect.
Yeah, no. No, I'll just take the. I'll take the bullet.
Okay. So the gun clatters to your feet.
Proximity-wise, where am I in reference to Atticus and the family?
Let's see. I'm going to kind of draw on here kind of a big parking lot. Green line is the building. And the X is kind of where the kiddo is sitting.
Okay.
Okay.
They get a new color. And you guys can all kind of draw on this also. That's the door. And what color is the RV?
Sort of.
Let's see what color it is.
Oh, let's make it black.
Shape, black shape. So I think Atticus is like right here. Froghemoth right on top of the truck. Another one kind of coming out of the shadows here. Samantha, you're right about here. There's a dead frog at your feet.
Okay.
And the other lady.
The bitch.
Daria. Daria is like right here.
I keep thinking of that MTV show when you say her name.
The one from the Beavis and Butthead spinoff?
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Oh, yeah. So then... So I can't communicate to Atticus in any way, shape, or form right now, right?
You can, just not telepathically. Like you can be normal. You can talk normally and stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're gonna have to get back inside and away from these monsters. Kind of regroup. I think. I just really don't know which would be the best solution. I think for the time being, to try to get the Froghemoth off of the RV, because I'm guessing that Silver's trying to get like medical supplies to tend to his wound. I'm probably gonna shoot at the blue monster. Can I see it or no?
Yeah. They both have kind of leapt into view here.
Okay, then I'm gonna try to move to the right and shoot the Froghemoth right now.
You need to kind of scoop the gun up in a timely fashion. The kind of pressure is that it's going to pounce down on Atticus right now. So you need to get the gun up and into play real quick.
So you gotta be
act
cool.
under pressure?
Yeah, be act under pressure. Get that done.
Too cool. Fuck.
Well, you get experience.
Can I take the luck?
You can take a luck to bump it up to 12, or you can take the experience.
No, let me take the luck to bump it up to 12.
Okay. So on a 12 plus, act under pressure, I think you just get, let me I was busy getting Daria from Josh's link. Ready for that. Sorry, a little distracted while doing that. No, it's got. She's really tall. That's why it's gotta do that. Action to pressure on 10 plus. You do what you set out to do. So I think you're able to scoop up the gun and get some shots and place them on blue before anybody else is reacting. They don't know you're armed. They're not poised to counterattack. I had looked it up. If you're in a position to deal your damage to something that's not like prepared to attack back, or it either is in a position that it can't or it chooses not to, you just get to deal your damage. You get to do the move, inflict damage. Now, there might be situations like you choosing to do that will amp up other pressures, but you get to just do damage at least. So, Samantha, you get to describe the scene in which you retrieve your gun and fire some shots into blue and do 3 damage to blue. Lay it out.
Okay, so I'm just scooping up the gun, running to the right, I guess, close to Daria, with the idea of like trying to. Oh.
You should be able to.
Running. Oh, yeah. Running in the direction towards Daria, and shooting my gun at the froghemoth, basically trying to get back into the restaurant.
And what I need to hear, because you get your shots off, you're able to do this without a problem. What I need to hear from you is like, you rolled plus cool. You got a 12 plus, like after you adjust it with luck. You're acting under pressure. Like what you do is fucking cool. Like, how does the audience know that this wasn't just scooping up your gun and strolling? Like, did you do any sort of like rolls? Did you shout "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker"? Like, what did Samantha do that like really lets the audience know?
Do like some Doc Holliday moves with your gun?
Yeah. Call it your Huckleberry.
All right. So then I'm just gonna roll forward to grab my gun in my hand, jump up, then dash really quickly to the side of the restaurant, and then do like a front flip while like aiming my gun at the froghemoth and landing like in a perfect land as a bullet strikes the froghemoth.
Nice. Very good.
So just the acrobatics.
And your gun is so glowing, that kind of silvery glow emanating from within the metal. And as you fire, I think like the muzzle flare even has like silver smoke coming out of it, and these bullets go out. And as they fly past you, Atticus, you hear this. Remember I talked before about like vibrational patterns and how like the frogs are one, and it's like it grates on your ears. The bullets as they fly past you, this bullet, you just hear like this humming, and it's going so fast like you shouldn't be able to pull it out, but you do. You pull out this kind of vibration. As it strikes the frog, you hear like a whimper, maybe a sizzle, and like a little whimper from the frog, and it's hurt. Like this tears into it and does some decent damage to it. Samantha, do you want to end up at the door or just by Daria? Like it's not D&D. You can kind of move a reasonable amount. It doesn't have to be like limited to 5 squares. Or how far do you get within this one be cool move?
Next to Daria, because I kind of want to have a talk with her about getting back into the restaurant. Because I actually, I'm kind of debating giving her the gun to help with the froghemoths, because I have another idea of how to kind of distract them.
To head you off the idea of just handing her the gun, I think what happens is you see her kind of lower her gun, pointed back toward Atticus, and she yells, "She's just a fucking child, you monster!" And she's getting ready to squeeze. Like she thinks that Atticus just killed her daughter. I think you got to see that she was fine. Like the bullet shattered and she kind of recoiled, but she looked out again, and you know she didn't get hit. But Daria doesn't yet realize that, so she's like getting ready to pull the trigger on Atticus.
I'm basically trying to get next to her to let her know that her daughter's alive, that Atticus didn't hit her in any way, shape, or form, but that we need to get back inside and kind of figure out a plan of how we're going to destroy these froghemoths, and I'm going to need her help for it.
That sounds like I'm going to manipulate someone.
Okay. So charm.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Nice. So Atticus,
And
you're sitting there. You just look up and you see this frog tongue rolling down, and then you hear the bullet fly overhead, and you actually think you see the passage of it. It strikes the frog whimpers, and then you hear Daria yelling at you, and you look up, and like Samantha's trying to talk her out of it, but she's determined, and she's raising up. She wants to shoot at you. But again, like I talked about game terms, like this is a soft move at this point. You can totally react.
am I by chance next to the door to the RV?
Absolutely, if it's convenient. And probably, are there separate doors for getting into the truck cabin versus the passenger
Yeah, I mean,
compartment, or is it
I
all
picture
connected?
it being like a big Winnebago to where there's like that side door that you can walk into the cabin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
I
if I
think the
sit,
door is stuck a little bit from the weight of the Froghemoth, but you can like rip it open. There's like a wrenching metal.
yeah, I mean, if I see that Sam's at least giving me a second to act, I'm gonna wrench the door open and just throw myself inside, try to get out of Daria's line of sight. And once I get in,
Okay.
I'm looking for my assault rifle, and I'm looking for my bottle of Jack Daniels.
Nice. So I think to kind of get through the door before she pulls off a shot, you're right that maybe Sam's giving you some time here. Maybe an act under pressure, and then if you need help, Sam can maybe even pull in some aid as she's doing that. You don't need help. Does Daria get some shots off at you, but you kind of get out of the way, or do you just get inside before she has a target?
I think it's way cooler if she gets some shots off. But I sort of dive roll in through the door, and as I'm rolling through the cabin, grab the bottle and like back up against the wall of the RV and just like take a drink and then pour some of it on my wound and
Nice.
set the bottle down.
Yeah, I think that's very cool. I think you were going for your bottle. You're also going for an assault rifle. I think you probably sleep with both near at hand. So you're kind of going to the same compartment in the RV. Is that right? Like back to your personal area?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have your rifle. You've taken a quick shot.
It probably hurts like hell when I pour bourbon on my gunshot wound. I don't know that it's going to injure me, but it probably hurts really bad.
Yeah, hurts like a son of a bitch. Let me look real quick. I think there's an argument to be made. If you can give yourself some first aid. You can heal up to 1 to, if you look at recovery on the same sheet as use magic.
Okay.
Do you have like a first aid kit in here that you'd actually get access to, or is it just pouring whiskey on it?
All I did just then is pour whiskey on it, but I'm sure that we have a first aid kit in the truck.
We also have my library in there as well too, and I think Andrew had said that like you have access to it and can possibly do some of the magic from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have access and can do it. Although he's also made the decision that he doesn't like intentionally do magic.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he may not think to like get a book and cast a healing spell type thing.
No, right now he's thinking about shooting through the roof of the RV with his assault rifle into the crotch of this frog.
Nice.
I had interrupted you before you had a chance to do that, and I apologize.
That's
I
all
want
right.
you to pull in the rifle, and you're just kind of shooting through the roof.
I mean, I'm if he's weighing down the roof of the van, I'm sure I can pretty much pinpoint where he is roughly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shoot up between the 2 foot dents, basically.
So this thing is it's fucking huge. It's a big fat bulbous frog thing sitting on your roof. So yeah, like the foot dents are really far apart, and there's a shitload of blubbery frog monster between them. Big clear target. With your assault rifle, you do 3 harm, close,
Yep.
far, and automatic. Let me grab my book real quick. I want to just double check because the weapon tags all have meaning. I want to make sure the automatic, whether maybe it gives you extra damage or anything.
Do you still have your headphones in?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, I'm thinking he's sort of in the survival mindset, and he's just trying to mitigate threats and figures he'll tend to his wounds when they're out of the shit. Like, I'll get out of the shit or I won't, and when I do, I'll figure out my gunshot. But this is all going to go down so this is all going to go down so fast that I'm going to get killed before I bleed out.
Yeah, I gotcha. I'm not showing. There's a list with tags, and it doesn't show the auto tag. So, for instance, if it was area, it can hit multiple foes, and you can divide the harm you inflict among multiple targets. But this specifically says auto. I'm going to look at the character sheet for Crooked real quick to make sure that's not a typo. No, close for auto. What do you think auto's going to do? You definitely, I mean, you can just deal your harm to it, so you're going to do 3 harm to it. But I'd like to give you something for automatic.
I don't know what auto would do. Maybe it would keep me from having to reload, or maybe it would. Maybe I would be able to do. Not that I do that right now, but maybe in a future situation, I could do some sort of spray attack where I just kind of like strafe something. I don't know. Maybe it's easier to hit with auto because you can just sort of like move the thing around and spray a general area. I'm not a gun guy though, so
I would almost say it gives like area. It might be the same thing, but I'm not sure. I'm looking at a blog right now. Okay, here they're saying this is from Apocalypse World, which this game comes from. Auto fire means you can use them for area fire whenever you want to, but you have to take action to reload them immediately afterward. So basically, with auto, if you want to, you can just shoot it the way you're shooting it now with no problem. But if you were to want to turn it into an area weapon, you can do that at your whim, but you're gonna have to reload right after that.
Okay.
So yeah, you definitely can sling a hail of gunfire through the roof. It just doesn't classify as auto. It's still a shitload of bullets.
Okay.
You're gonna do 3 harm to it.
And you said I don't need to roll for that?
It doesn't anticipate the attack. You can't quite see what you're doing. So you've got this real cool scene where you kind of roll in, chug some whiskey, pour it on your gut wound, and then do you say anything as you fire through the roof?
Nope.
Okay. Just shooting through the roof. Casings are spilling down. I think one of them lands on like the whiskey sodden mess of your shirt, like whiskey and blood, like sizzles as it lands there. You spray through. Some of that kind of gooey, acidy blood comes dripping through. It's not going to be enough to hurt you, but it kind of comes through like sizzles on the carpet.
I'm going to move my bottle under the nearby bed to keep the goo from going in there.
Nice. Now you've blasted into this thing. Jessica, we cut back over to Sam. You see him dive in kind of right in front of the bullets that Daria slings his way. She cusses and fires a couple more into the side of the RV. Kind of one to each side of the door, trying to hit him as he goes through. There's a moment of silence. You don't know if he's dying in there, and then a burst of gunfire. And you see the frog on top, like the bullets don't come out of it, so you just see the frog, like, as the gunfire is going on, it's like jolting around, kind of dancing in one spot. And then it turns and it starts like ripping at the roof. It's having trouble getting through, but it's trying to rip the roof off. You're sitting there next to Daria. She might mean to go after him. You had a chance to mark an XP?
Yeah.
Did you mark it?
Yeah.
Do any of your advances make sense to you just yet? Or do you want to hold that for a minute?
+1 on charm.
Okay.
So let me
Just
fix
go ahead and
that.
add 1 to the charm, and then erase your experience and check the box next to that option.
Crap. Okay, done.
Okay. And so what are you gonna do now? Oh, red is kind of hopping. Maybe red's up against the back of the RV trying to tear its way in. They both see Oedipus as a big threat.
And I mean, I figured before you moved red there that I dove in and rolled this way.
Okay. Yeah, I picture that being the back of the RV. I think we didn't agree on that, but I think we're both picturing it.
Just to put myself in an even shittier position.
Okay. Can I like pound on the glass of the restaurant and tell everybody to go get some pots and pans? Because I kind of want to create some noise to kind of get the froghemoths away from Atticus, because yeah, he won't be able to defend against both of them.
Yes, you want to kind of. They're all kind of in shock a little bit, and they're inclined to like they're watching for the moment, and they're probably getting ready to panic and either dive down below tables or try and run out the back. And you want to kind of corral them and give them purpose and give them something to do. Are you going to try and get them to bang on stuff to make themselves the distraction? Or like to throw them somewhere far away from them to like get the frogs to go elsewhere?
Maybe a combination of both. Like first and foremost, to get them away from the RV, because my concern is like that it's gonna just crumble in and squash Atticus. So to kind of draw them over with noise and move them in another direction.
Okay, so then make a lot of noise inside the restaurant to draw the creatures toward the restaurant.
Yeah.
So give me a manipulate someone as you. What do you kind of tell them? Like just go in there and make a shitload of noise, like bang pots on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're gonna try and manipulate. I think it's kind of primarily against Manon and the 3 teenagers at this point. They're the ones closest to you, since Daria's daughter is all at the other end.
So charm, right?
Plus charm. Nice. So 10+. On a 10+, they'll do it for the reason you gave them. If you ask too much, they'll tell you the minimum it would take for them to do it. So they kind of look at you like, "Are you fucking crazy, lady?" And Manon, let me just read the tag I gave him real quick.
You say he's violent.
He is aggressive, and so he kind of looks to you. He looks to them, and he says, "Shut up and do it." He says, he turns kind of back to you, and he says, "Lady, you can't let these things get in here. If they try, we're out of here." So they're going to do it, but they kind of establish the rules of like they're not going to sit here and like they're not going to be the musicians playing on the Titanic as it sinks, right? They'll make some noise and then run if it gets bad.
Right.
So they pull to the back. I think there's a fry cook back there that we haven't seen yet. He's actually tried dialing 911 a couple of times. You hear him arguing with Manon about how like, the phones are down. And after just a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds, you hear like the big heavy pots being like slammed on stainless steel countertops. Things being dropped on the ground. Maybe one of them is like throwing glasses at the wall until like, "Hey, those are expensive. Stop it."
Those are expensive.
Yeah, starts breaking all the or hitting the stainless steel shit together. So they're making that noise in there. Now, whether or not it's effective on the monsters, let's see what you do next. Daria's out here. She's still kind of looking for a target for Atticus. She's kind of looking nervously toward the monsters. She's looking toward Atticus. It's been too quick. She hasn't quite clicked that her daughter's like, okay. Her daughter's actually like kind of yelling out the broken window, like, Mom, what the fuck is that? And Daria's just like tunnel vision on Atticus.
Okay. I'm just gonna throw another shot at the blue monster. So I guess I would have to kind of like run to the front a little, like this, so that I can be in range of the monster.
Oh, you can kind of shoot from where you are, but like as you shoot at it, it starts leaping toward you. So you're going to be doing kick some ass. It remembers you and your mean pistol.
Okay, then I'm just gonna shoot at it to kind of get it away from the RV, and I'm hoping that Atticus knows that as I'm trying to track it out, that I'm gonna need for him to follow up from the back, so that hopefully we can get rid of that monster quickly and then deal with the red one shortly after.
Give me your kick some ass on it. Six. Atticus, is there anything you want to do? Like, are you aware that she's like shooting at it and there's something to do, or?
I mean, I suppose I can probably hear the gunfire.
Maybe there's even like a window you can look at, so you could gesture at each other if you need.
Yeah.
Of course, if you roll badly, Daria might just take a shot through that same window.
That's fine.
It's up to you if you want to help out. Plus, cool if you want to. Just describe it.
No, I do. So I see that she's trying to kind of pull the monster off the roof and towards it. It's the one on the roof, right? Because you don't want it to crush through.
Yeah.
I'm going to sort of do that spray move, not to do an area effect, but to push it. So I'm going to start firing up towards the corner where the wall meets the roof of the RV and just like shoot across to try and hit it in its ass end, and then like from ass to front to try and push it forward as she's trying to pull it forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is there a chug of whiskey as you do this?
Of course.
Roll plus cool. Give me a hearty pull of the whiskey, and then shoot that thing in the ass. Beautiful. So you both get to mark another XP.
Because that levels me up,
Josh,
as well. But
that levels you up. So look at your options there and see if any of them appeal. For now, like you kind of shoot thing in the butt. It's just kind of humped there. It kind of hunkers down. Jessica, I think your Samantha's bullet even goes into it, but it's kind of it tears a chunk of tissue out, and it doesn't seem to do any like kind of big damage. The thing leaps across. It still likes the idea of leaving, even though that's what you're trying to do. But as it leaps across, its mouth gapes open and wide. I'm gonna make this thing big again real quick. Show you that mouth that you're getting into. Its mouth opens open and wide. It lands right in front of you. One tentacle kind of pushes Daria against the wall, and the mouth opens up, and the tongue lashes out and grabs a hold of you. The Froghemoth has a special move I'm going to put in the chat. If a Froghemoth attempts to grip you with its tongue and tries to engulf you, roll plus tough. So roll plus tough for Samantha. 8. So on a 7 to 9, you break free but suffer 1 harm or the loss of a valuable item. Let me look at your character sheet real quick, Samantha. Samantha, you first of all, you're in the unstable status, right? Because you're at over 4 hit points.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you at 4 exactly?
I'm at 4.
Okay. So actually, uncheck one of those boxes because you have the 5th box checked.
Oh.
You're at 4 hit points. You are going to. I think it grabs your pistol. Like its tongue goes around your body and around your arm, and it starts trying to pull you, and you're able to kind of shrug and get it off, but it like slides down your arm. It's kind of ripping at your clothing, and then it grabs your pistol, and it takes the pistol into its mouth. It's not swallowed all the way, but it's kind of in its mouth, like sitting in the bottom of the under the tongue, and it's kind of working its jaws, like it's trying to figure out how to swallow the damn thing. It just can't quite get its tongue underneath it to flip it up. And then,
Is there any way that I can like try to press the trigger so it shoots him in the mouth? Or is it too late for that?
This is a result of your 5, your bad roll,
Okay.
or your, what was it, a 6. So you lose the gun, and then, or you get entangled. It pulls the gun away, and the gun is there in its mouth. That said, using magic, you definitely could try and do one thing that's beyond human limitations, like get that gun to fire inside of his mouth with some magic.
But I don't have access to my magic right now, right?
You have access to use magic, you just can't use your spooky stuff that goes with it, the telepathy, the hex, or the sight. But you can do regular use magic.
Okay, let me try magic.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely still do magic. And yeah, the kids are in the background making a big clanking sound. I think Red is even starting to kind of like pay attention this way.
Okay, so then I can roll weird, right?
Yeah, plus word.
Fuck.
Josh, you see her just gesticulating wildly. Is there anything you can do to help at this point?
Yeah, I'm gonna charge up to the front and lay on the horn.
Nice.
To try and get the thing to, like, I don't know, be confused.
Go ahead and give me a be cool. Oh, and Jessica roll a. Oh, don't mark an XP yet, but you probably will, because Josh is gonna fuck this up.
Well, there's a move that I'm thinking about taking. That
Would it make sense to have it kind of come in right now?
It could. It is on. Oh shit! I can't tell what the. Maybe it's on the professionals playbook. Maybe. It's called Bottle It Up. I like this one because this gives you options too. If you want, you can take up to a +3 bonus when you act under pressure. For each +1 you use, the keeper holds 1. This hold can be spent later for 1 to give you -1 on any move except act under pressure.
Okay.
So I can bump up my act cool rolls, but every time I do, you get points to use against me in creative ways later.
It's only for act under pressure, not necessarily for help, or not for help another.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But it is a cool idea. I like that as a move.
Okay, I'm going to take that move anyways.
Okay. Do you want me to copy and paste it in your character sheet? I don't know if you have access to the same ones that copy and paste well.
I don't think I do. But anyways, I will roll to do cool stuff. Or, the other thing, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm just going to give myself a +1 to cool.
Okay. Okay.
So helping is cool?
And yeah, and so mark your cool up by 1 also.
Okay, I did that.
And so roll plus cool. Nice. Is that 10? Is that what you just got there?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So you start laying on the horn. I think also like the windshield wipers come on, and the spray starts as you're pounding on the horn. Maybe the radio comes on. Does a particular song come on, the Atticus? Like it's all accidental as you're going for the horn, but it makes you look cool.
Yeah. You mentioned it last time we played. So Golgotha Tenement Blues.
Nice. Was it After the Rain, or what was the name? It was a really good song on the Crow soundtrack. I don't remember. So the frog starts to turn. Its tongue is getting under the gun. It's going to swallow the gun. Samantha's trying to activate her magic weirdness. What kind of cool magic stuff are you doing, Samantha, to make it work? Like, what's your use magic? What's your effect, I guess?
Well, I was trying to like grab the gun and shoot it in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what my
choose a
intentions
glitch.
were. Oh. It has a problematic side effect.
Okay, I think the gun goes off. It does its harm as established to the creature.
It's 3 more against him.
Just about dead. Yeah, 3 more against it. Creature's getting hit pretty good. A couple more hits like this from what either of you are doing, and it's going to be blown up. I think the bullet tears through the creature's jaw, and it strikes Daria in the thigh. And she drops to one knee, and I think it draws her attention from this thing. And then, like, I think her daughter, who is screaming, like, "Mom!" And she jumps out, and daughter, let me see if I grab just that. No, I don't want to grab the whole thing. I'm going to give a new shape to the daughter. The daughter kind of runs up next to Daria. I'm not going to worry about a shape just yet. Runs up and starts kind of checking on her. Gets within proximity of that frog. It's kind of chewing at the air, trying to get its jaw working. The gun is still precariously perched in its mouth. Blood, the acidy blood is kind of flying around everywhere. Atticus, you're honking on the horn, and you hear Red like climbing. Like, it hasn't leapt onto it. It's just kind of like trying to like grabbing the top. You feel the bottom of the RV kind of pressing down, which is like how much weight this thing is bringing to bear. And it's like using its hind legs to kind of scramble up on the top of the RV.
All right, this might be a cool act under pressure thing. I'm going to fire up the ignition on the RV and aim over my shoulder with my gun and start firing as I kick it in reverse and just power backwards.
Okay.
Nice.
And there's maybe a car or a dumpster or something heavy behind your RV, like back in the corner here. Maybe the car that the other frog had been on. Like, what is it? A dumpster car? Like, what are you going to pinch it into if you can?
I would love it to be Manon's car.
Nice. that was the one you shot at, right? Yeah. I think his car is there, like next to like a tree or something. So it'll blast into the car, but not just push it out of the way. Give me an act under pressure. Nice. Act under pressure on 7-9. Keeper is going to give you a worse outcome, hard choice, or price to pay. You don't have your seatbelt on.
That's true.
As you crunch it, I will let you inflict 7 harm on this thing if you take 1 harm yourself, or at the last second, like you're gonna have to kind of hit the brake to protect yourself, and you're gonna pin it, but you won't harm it.
Oh, I'll take the harm. Okay,
so mark a harm. Now you also have unstable wounds.
Mm-hmm.
You're bleeding out pretty bad. I think in addition to the harm you take here, I think you pass out momentarily. And it's not going to be like you're out of the action, but like next time we come around to you, you're kind of coming to and just be in that kind of foggy mind state and kind of trying to catch up with what the scene is.
Got it.
We're not going to have like an extended period of time with you out of it, though.
Okay.
But so we have you kind of back up away from here. the whole edge of the parking lot appears to have moved. Bring it back. Yeah, fuck it. The drawing tools aren't particularly friendly here. This thing.
That's all right.
So yeah, you kind of smash back into the car. The thing is both pinned and it's taken a bunch of damage. Have I already reflected the damage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's take a quick 5-minute break.
Okay.
Come back at 10. It's 10:11, 10:15. Is that good? 4 minutes?
Yeah.
And then we'll come back and pick it up.
I'll start working on my new character.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hey, hey. Ooh, a minute early.
Oh man, we gotta wait. Union rules.
Yep.
Um,
When you took your headphones off, I told Jess that I'm going to start working on my new character.
is it my beard? Is it my mustache?
No, it's that I'm almost dead.
It's not that I look like a dickhead vice principal.
No.
Okay.
I like the look. I think it's a bold choice.
Bold choice. Thank you.
I'm not your significant other, so what I think about it matters not very much out of the three of us.
Oh, I don't have any say of what he does to his face either.
But you're allowed to voice an opinion.
Don't you go
No,
trying
'cause
to
if
power her.
If I voice an opinion, then if I decide to dye my hair, cut it like real short, then he's gonna voice his opinion about it. So nope.
What I will tell you of many years of knowing Andy is that
Oh, we gotta go, guys.
generally if you tell him something to try and get him to do something, he'll do the opposite of what he knows you want him to do. So if you're like, oh, I fucking hate that mustache, shave it off, he'll like grow the nastiest Fu Manchu possible to just be like, fuck that, I do what I want. It's my
Handlebar.
mustache. You don't want me to do this?
He
Watch me do
doesn't.
it.
Yeah.
The Bugs Bunny reverse psychology trick works every time.
Rabbit season.
So, yeah, I think, Samantha, you see the RV go smashing back. The frog gets squished there. Bits of frog blood and gut and all the juices that are part of a frog behemoth come squirting out of the sides. Bones are broken. Like, even though it's not dead, maybe it's even safe to ignore. Like, it's got its forelegs and it's like head free. Its tongue is probably like kind of spasming across the top of the roof, and like on the inside, if Atticus was awake, he'd hear this like thud and drag as like, and maybe like even just shaking of the roof as the sticky tongue tries to rip at the roof, but it's all mostly just spasms, not intentional on Red's part.
Does
Blue,
she know I'm out? Does like she hear me laying against the horn or something?
oh, I like that. Yeah. I hadn't considered that, but I do think like, yeah, he had kind of laid on the horn and then did this, and now you hear more laying on the horn, and as you look in, the glass is kind of spiderwebbed from the impact, but you do see him kind of head down on the wheel. You saw him get gut shot real bad. You don't know which of Daria's bullets may have hit him. To your perception, he might be dead or dying in there. But this froghemoth right in front of you is still kind of like mouth up in the air, like trying to choke down that gun. And Daria is like down on one knee and has just turned to see her daughter like rushing up to comfort her. And you see like the anxiety on Daria's face as her daughter rushes forward. What do you do?
Hi. Would
You haven't
continue
really
to.
used the noise. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, you've got people in the back making noise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can do something to work that into it, or get Daria involved. Keep using magic.
Push her into the monster's mouth.
Hmm.
That's what I would do.
Your 38 does 2 harm, and you've magicked it up to 3 harm. Her 357 does 3 harm, so a magic bonus would make it another +1. Oh, Jessica, are you disconnected? Or are you just thinking?
Big magic, since I do have a lot of people.
Oh, I missed part of that. I just heard big magic. Were you asking a question about it?
Yeah, since there's a lot of people in the area, and I want to like amplify the noise, because I know that like with the noise it affects the monsters in some sort of weird way. Could I do something like that?
Yeah, what kind of effect are you looking for?
Well, like the banging and like the noise that's being done, it changes it has like a vibrational pitch or change that I want to kind of project at the monster.
And you want to use that to drive the frogs out or destroy them, or what do you want to do with it?
To destroy them.
Okay. So I think you start laying that plan out. And let me just look at my prep real quick. As you start laying that plan out, Manon has come back up from the kitchen where he's got like the chorus of noise. With his one good hand, he's holding his rosary up and he's starting to scream in prayer. Probably doing what's the yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death? Like screaming at the thing. It's not Lord's Prayer. What is that? Is that Lord's Prayer?
No.
Whichever one that is, he's screaming
That's just
that.
a Bible verse.
Okay. Yeah, he's screaming that. And then the professor comes running up with a couple of books clutched. And she hears you kind of laying out the plan of like make noise, like we can drive these things back. And she yells at you that we have to get to my lab. She says, I can close the portals. What you're wanting to do, I think we can do it, but we need to get to my lab. And basically, I'm putting the requirement for your big magic. One of the things I can do is say that it requires a. Where's the spell? You need to experiment with this. Or, I'm sorry. You need some rare and weird ingredients and supplies. She actually has something that you can use that will close the portals completely, as she's explaining it to you. So kind of in the quick interaction, as she's kind of trying to tell you what she misunderstands what you're trying to do. What she's doing with the kind of magic you're talking about, you could actually close the portals and it would destroy all the frogs here. If you want the more limited effect of just destroying the 2 frogs on the site, you need to keep the noisemakers. You can you'll need to use magic to bar a place or portal to a specific person or type of creature, and you could designate like the entire diner and the parking lot around it. You would basically establish like a frog-free zone around the diner, but it would have the specific side effect of drawing in more of the froghemus. Like you would become like a thorn in the side of this place of the magics, and so while you draw everything out, like they'd be you'd be a beacon to any ones that are out in the fog around the area. So they'd start coming and trying to get in. So basically, you have a choice. You can do the ritual right now to kill the two there and make it a safe sanctuary away from them. In the background, the professor is saying, yeah, you can do that, but whether you do that or not, like, let's get to my lab, and I have the key to, like, kill them all and kill the portals.
What's the time restraints for both?
Not really a big time restraint. Like, you kind of know what you're going to need to do to choreograph the people inside. I think you'll have to kind of get them on the pattern of what they need to do. I would say that the use magic component that you would need to make the big magic work, and that's where you do the bar, a place, or portal. Let's say 1 minute to cast. It's going to require the chanting and gestures, which will include their music, their dissonant rhythm, and that'll be it. 1 or 2 people to help cast a spell are the same ones from the big magic. So do you want to aim for, like, just going to the lab first, like bug out of here and just go to the lab? Or do you want to, like, take care of this place, realizing you'll draw on more frogs? And if you want to solve the big problem, you'll have to make it to the lab while there's more frogs in the area.
Can I bring the people along with me into, like, the Winnebago? Like, to get to the Winnebago, and then from there we drive to the lady wants to take us.
So with the Winnebago, would you want to do the ritual on the Winnebago to make it frog proof? But you're gonna make driving it through town. Like they'll be like the Pied Piper, they'll be chasing you around, but they can't quite get in.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I kind of dig that. Yeah. You could, instead of designating the diner, you could designate the Winnebago. To do that, you do have blue, particularly, you've got to deal with, and I think red is trying to thrash open. Red is doing damage to the Winnebago, at least the top of it, not like the drive axle, but blue is right in front of you. Like blue is an immediate concern.
Okay. So then. Okay, so I'm gonna shout to the professor that I have a plan. Kind of hold off the blue monster. So I need for all of them to run to the Winnebago, and that we'll all go together to her lab. But then I need them to continue to do the music to kind of distract them.
Okay. So she's going to draw the 3 teenagers and the line cook from the back. And the professor's name is Amanda. Amanda, the teenagers and the line cook are going to run to the Winnebago. You won't need Manon to complete the ritual. Do you want to bring him along? He's standing there kind of trying to banish the demon with his crucifix. Do you want to get him to come with you or leave him to face this thing? Okay.
Yeah, no, we can have him come with.
The professor's kind of likes that you agree with going to the lab. So she agrees. She goes and does that. Manon is not necessarily in agreement about the plan. He thinks you need to have faith in God, and he's kind of shouting prayers at this thing. Doesn't seem to be having an impact on it. And you know that there's some kind of mysterious stuff, maybe that like crucifixes and prayers and stuff work against. You don't think these demons come from like a sort of reality where that matters, or these frogs. What are you going to do about Manon refusing to participate? And you can tie it to what you're doing to kind of keep Blue from attacking the innocents as they run by.
Maybe I'm gonna manipulate him and tell him that like, well, we need his faith in God to help us follow through with what we're trying to do. Nice.
And then I think there's going to be a manipulate there. And then what about Daria and her daughter? You want them to go, or are you going to leave them behind?
I know that Daria's. I'd probably have to tell Daria that like, we need to find a safe place, and this doctor has told us that she knows how to close the portal and get rid of these monsters for good. We'll patch you up. Your daughter is alive. We didn't hurt her in any way, shape, or form. So we need your assistance. We need your help. And it's up to her whether she wants to come or not. But if she doesn't, she's going to stay here, and she's going to be still surrounded by the monster. So her only way of escape from the monsters right now would be coming with us. Okay. Shoot Atticus.
So you're kind of doing all this while Blue is still there, kind of gulping at the gun. It's going pretty quick, and Blue is like still kind of thrashing with the tentacles. People are like ducking under them, except Manon is standing there just like by dumb luck, hasn't been hit yet, or divine protection. We're not sure yet. So he's sitting there. You've kind of told him, you're telling her, roll me a manipulate someone. We're going to kind of roll all of them into one manipulate, while Blue is still there, kind of thrashing along.
Fuck. I'll take the luck.
Take the luck, push it up to a 12?
Yeah.
So I think as you spend that luck, you just hear the kind of haunting voice calling out, Sammy, Sammy, Sammy. No choice is still a choice. We've got our due. And it's kind of coming from over Atticus's way. And the horn kind of ominously stops as they kind of lead you to believe like they've got the death they were hoping for. You got to choose 2. You said you were refusing a choice, but you chose yourself and the girl. Like that's their implication, right? Mm-hmm. As that's coming through, and just so Josh knows, I haven't. Atticus has not just died. Um, as this is going on, Daria is pushing the girl toward you, saying, "I can't make it. I'm bleeding out here. Get her to safety. On your life. Keep her safe." She's telling you that. Meanwhile, Manon is like walking toward Blue with his crucifix held high, like getting right up in its mouth or right up in its face, like rebuking it loudly. As like the professor and the rest of the gang go running behind him, getting into the RV. So all at once, like the horn stops, you hear them calling out. The little girl's refusing to go. Daria's pushing her toward your arms, and the frog like snaps shut on Manon, like swallows him whole, crucifix and all. You've got a moment here where like you can slip away with the girl. Daria's like trying not to go, and we cut to the RV where Atticus, like you come to, like right as you lift your head off the horn and it stops blaring. You feel it kind of rocking from the red pushing down, and the door bangs open, and just people are rushing into the passenger cabin of the RV, like that side door that you used earlier.
Mhm.
You just like there's people rushing into your RV. You don't know who they are. You're disoriented. You're confused. The audience recognizes that it's the professor, the cook, and the 3 teenagers. What's your response?
I probably still have my arm with the gun draped over the back seat since I was firing backwards. I like raise it up kind of groggily and just kind of scan across the back of the RV. I'm like, who the fuck are all you people?
Okay. So disorientation, a little almost paranoia. There's strangers in your home. I almost want to say, is there some act under pressure just to like keep from doing something silly? The pressure is like in your disoriented state, you're going to fire on everybody in there. Is that something Atticus might do if he didn't have his wits about him?
I had a narrative idea of what I might do that would freak them out, but not hurt them.
No, let's go for it.
Sort of like I'm putting the pieces together in my head of what's happening. I'm seeing all these people. I'm starting to recognize that I've seen these people recently. They were in the diner. Oh, I'm at the diner. Oh, there's a monster on top of the RV, and so I just take a couple shots through the roof, and then I'm like, oh no, it's not there anymore. And I look out the window to where it just ate Manon, and I glance back at his El Camino, and then I glance back at the monster again, and I fire at the monster.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so they're freaking out, and I think like the school bus driver that shouts real loud and aggressively, like they scramble behind seats, kind of take cover from you. You fire a couple shots through the round. You lean out toward the door, like toward the shot on Manon, and
this is totally like blind Han Solo shooting at the Sarlacc to get Billy D. Williams out. It's like, oh yeah, I'm fine, and I take a shot at the blue one.
I think the danger is there that if you fire on him, you could hit Samantha. Daria you may not care about, or even in hitting Blue, you might hit Manon. If you're willing to pull that trigger.
Oh, Manon's
swallowed, but he's not necessarily dead. He's fully inside. If you could kill it quickly, you might get him out. But like if you shoot into him, like you might also hit Manon. And Samantha's pistol, enchanted pistol, is also inside of the thing. But if you're willing to risk like all those things, then basically it's gonna be like on a 6-, you'll hit some shit you don't mean to hit. On a 7 to 9, you get a worse outcome, hard choice, or a price to pay. So it's really an act under pressure instead of kick some ass.
I'll do it.
Okay.
So act under pressure.
Go for it. Yeah. Nice. So you do what you set out to do. You fire your a salvo of your shots into the thing. You're going to do your full damage to it. It jinks around a little bit. It's fucking hurt. It's close to dying. I think that kind of spurs I think Daria is going to stand up and start shooting into the thing. Also, and kind of pushing her daughter further back. No, I haven't given Samantha a choice to act. Are you looking like you're willing to take the daughter and leave Daria behind, or are you trying to take Daria with you? Kind of briefly, what's Samantha doing?
I'm willing to take Daria with her. The monster's almost done, but maybe I can already kind of see that the monster's almost dead. So since I don't have a gun on me, I'd ask her for her gun so we can kill the monster, and me and her daughter can carry her like on our shoulders. Well, not this shoulder because it's busted, but the other shoulder, and like run her into the RV. And maybe if they're already in the RV, then they might already start kind of driving in our direction to get out of the parking lot anyways.
Okay. So I think we see that quick dialogue between Samantha and Daria. You see them kind of talking very quickly, almost across each other. And then you see Daria hand butt first the 357 over to Samantha. So you see this, Atticus. You still have your gun kind of trained on Blue. You've got a car full of people freaking out and hiding from you in the RV. You're bleeding out. I mean, you're in horrible fucking pain, but you're cooler than you've ever been. You've just become +1 cooler than before. What do you, oh, and I think at this point we also find you had to abandon your bottle of Jack in the back, but I think you also keep what's your holdout flask or bottle that you have up near the driver's seat for those real long straight stretches of road?
I probably have like my oh shit flask of the really good stuff, like tucked under the driver's seat. It's like the emergency hatch.
So I think that hatch popped open as you backed into it, and like your eyes kind of fall on that as you're sitting there. You're super cool. Yeah. Lay it out. What happens?
So I will hit the gas, and I am still kind of waking up from my stupor, and I don't remember that the RV's still in reverse. So I push the monster that's on the RV back into Manon's car, just even a little bit more, and then I throw it into drive and spin out the tires and start to kind of head, if I don't, kind of head this way.
Okay. And are you recklessly, or are you trying to control it to like be able to stop and pick them up? Are you trying to nail Blue, or stop and pick them up, or what are you trying to do?
Well, I've got the driver tag, so I'm going to try and clip Blue as I squeal up to pick them up.
Forgot you had driver. Oh shit! You also have a car. Your Firebird is on a trailer on the back of your thing. So did your Firebird get totaled as you were doing all this, or was it miraculously somehow protected?
We just pulled into town, so I don't know why it would have not been on the trailer.
Okay, we'll totally like make your car recoverable, repairable. It's not gone, but yeah, +1 ongoing while driving. Plus, you can hotwire anything. Oh, I forgot to give you your +1s earlier.
I rolled pretty well, anyways.
But yeah, you definitely get a +1. You're trying to hit the thing, hit Blue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to hit them, or knock Blue into them, but I want to hit Blue as I'm driving up to pick them up.
This is a kick some ass because it could like try and hit you through the windshield as you come toward it. Okay. And we're gonna have you kick some ass, and I think Jessica also roll your kick some ass as you start firing into it with Daria's shot.
And
both kind of
take a +1, right?
+1 for doing it while driving. So you got a 7, and Samantha has a 9.
No, okay. I got a 6 because I included my +1 in the roll. I rolled a 5
shit.
+1.
Okay. And Samantha has a 9. Let's see real quick. I was being kind of trying to go for the epic coolness, having you both roll plus tough at the same time, which prevents either from aiding the other.
Oh, well, no, Atticus, you still get a +1 because you're driving.
I included that
So
already, though. Like when you roll, you can add the +1 in the little box.
Oh, okay.
I rolled
okay.
a 2 and a 3 and then +1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as
Never
tough as a 0, so that +1 comes from the bonus. I'm just trying to think of the way to resolve this, because I called for you both to make simultaneous moves, and that's really it's not something that I should do even in the first place. Do you want to turn your attack into a help out, Jessica, for Samantha to turn that into a 7, or do you want to keep your 9 and have him suffer the effects of a 6-?
One of those effects is getting experience.
Yes.
What do you think, Josh?
I leave it up to you. I don't know what the consequences could be necessarily of failing a kick some ass, because I don't see it on the reference sheet. It just says what happens if you get a 7+.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that I would take damage, and I don't have a lot of room to take much damage, but that's okay. I mean, we can figure that out too. Like,
you also both have luck available, but you will take at least 2 damage.
So if I give him my 9, wait, I'd have to roll help out. So cool, right?
Yeah.
and I can take the damage and use a luck. Why don't I just use a luck? You've used luck, although I can't open my character sheet for some reason.
I might because I had it open. You can open now. You could also take luck to turn your
Yeah, I still can't
move
open it.
into a 12+.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Why don't I just use luck?
Okay. You can't open your character sheet now? I just closed it again. I opened it and closed it again.
Wait, let me try one more time. No, it opens.
Oh, you might have. Yeah, you already have it open. So I think. How do you do this? It's like a little narrow bar. Is there an X in the top right corner? Can you close that and then reopen it?
Yeah, but it still brings up the same. It still brings up the same little gray bar thing.
I'm trying to think of how to. There's a way to do it, and I can't remember it now. Damn it! Maybe you reload the screen.
Yeah, I was going to say I can just reload or log out and log back in.
Yeah, that shouldn't drop you from the call since it's roll 20. Yeah, go ahead and do that. So we're going to plus him up to a +12.
Okay, and I put my second luck down. So another bad guy's going to bother us.
So let's resolve them in this order. As you kind of come driving in, careening toward it, Samantha, you have that 45 or 357, and you start shooting at the thing, which is going to be enough harm to kill it also. But you're going to trade harm with it. Since you get a 7 to 9, you have a 9. As you trade harm with it, it does 2 hit points of damage to you.
Okay.
The effect of that is it actually spits Manon out at you. His flesh is starting to kind of split open with like sores, like digestive fluids have been on him. Spits Manon out at you. He's almost dead. He's like writhing in agony, but he's passing out. Kind of pushes into you as you're firing into the thing. The bullets go into it, and it's kind of thrashing wildly. I think its tongue makes one last ditch effort at you, and the RV, the Winnebago, like slams into its body, knocks it a few feet off, and everything kind of comes to a stop right in front of you. And I think kind of a call back to like a school bus opening its door at the bus stop. Like that side door has been kind of flapping on and off on its hinges, and it just kind of flaps open and then falls to the ground. And the bus is here in front of you.
Okay.
How badly is Samantha messed up right now?
I'm at a 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm at a 5. I lug Daria in, and I tell the daughter to jump into the Winnebago as well too. And I'm like the last one in, and I just tell Atticus drive. While he's doing that, I'm going to my spell books to try to go get something together to try to heal him.
Aw.
Okay. Do you want to put the magic bubble of protection on the Winnebago first, or do you want to heal him first?
How badly harmed are you, Josh?
I am at 6 harm.
Um,
I can do 2 more.
You're both in the same bad boat.
yeah.
And I have a solution for the harm here also. I just want to kind of figure out what's Samantha's priority as Atticus is dragging. Is it healing, or is it putting the frog-proof bubble on the RV that will actually draw attention, or do you not want to do that at all?
No, I think I want to heal him first.
Okay. It's like as you kind of go rummaging through your used magic books looking for ways to heal, Daria kind of comes up to you and looks at you, and you're covered in burns. You've been shot in the shoulder. You're bleeding out of the shoulder. She comes up, and I think she takes the pistol away from you, and she looks up toward the front where Atticus is driving, and like you're starting to lurch out of the parking lot, like over a curb and down the road. But then she looks at her daughter, and she holsters it, and she says, "Here, let me patch you up. Do you have a first aid kit?" And she offers to take care of you. And that healing, she could do what she can do the first aid, and then you can try and use magic on top of that.
Okay.
Do you wish to let her take a look at you?
Can I tell her that we need to heal Atticus first, and then she can take care of me?
You can kind of tell her that, and Atticus, you can hear this going on in the background too as they're talking. It'd be a manipulate move as you try and tell her. She's clearly like healing Atticus would be a distaste in her mouth.
So this would be like an assist, mechanically?
Well, yeah, we'd see what she does first. But like you hear the conversation, you could either shrug it off or try and talk her into it. But let's have Samantha start trying to get her to do something.
Mm-hmm. Well, if my plan is to heal Atticus, what would I need to do? And then if she heals me, then
Basically, what we would do is we would try to remember how many different injuries you have, and her first aid could heal like one hit point off of each of those injuries. So I know, for instance, we started the game and you had an injury from last time from the frog blowing up on you. So that was one time. Today you got shot right at the beginning of the session. And you also had the frog shoot acid mammon at you. At you. And so there's at least 3 injuries you've taken. So I'd say if she does first aid to you, she could heal up 3 hit points and you'd become stable. For Josh, we would have the gut shot at the beginning. Did you start with any wounds today, Josh?
I started with 1.
1. I don't remember what that was from, but you'd be able to heal that one. 1 from the gut shot. 1 from backing the truck into the thing.
I think that's it.
So 3. So each of you, if she gives you first aid right now, using a first aid kit, you each get 3 hit points back. If your use magic works, you can heal 1 harm from an injury, or cure a disease, or neutralize a poison.
I mean, I could try to manipulate her too. I don't want to jump in line, but
yeah, let's kind of see how this scene goes. Like maybe you just let her focus on you, and then she can go have a discussion with Josh, and he can resolve whether or not she'll heal him. That would give them a chance to have a little scene where they talk about like him firing toward his daughter and her shooting him in the gut and burying their hatchet while they deal with this.
Yeah, we can do that. We can go ahead and have her heal me, and then tell her that like it's important that she also helps out with healing Atticus because of whatever reasons.
Well, she's absolutely willing to heal you up. She saw you kind of willing to help protect her daughter and everything, and you got them out of the parking lot. So she starts ministering to you. She grabs the first aid kit wherever you indicate it was. Starts kind of tending to your wounds, your shoulder. She seems to have pretty good fingers for it. A lot of practice. Probably while you're moving along, she's actually stitching up your shoulders. She mentions to you that she took a look at Atticus. He's not going to die right away, but she knows that gut shot's pretty bad. He's going to need actual medical attention. But she can, you have time. Don't worry about him. Let's take care of you right now. Like she's trying to calm you down. So take off 3 of the harm that you suffered. And she patches you up. And then kind of that ends. I think we cut to the next moment. You're a little bit down the road, and she's come up and she's sitting tired on the passenger seat while we leave Samantha rummaging through her books in the back. She's got the 45, the 357 holstered, but that 380 is kind of sitting on her lap, not pointed at you, but like within easy reach.
Mm-hmm.
And she sits down and she says, "You shot at my kid."
I did. I didn't realize it was bring your kid to work day. You know what business we're in.
You've always been such an asshole.
That's
why you've got no place.
I take a drink of the super special good flask, and I kind of put it up on the dash and slide it to the passenger side. There's no open container law in New Mexico, is there? Should get after some of that.
She pulls it down and says, "These guns aren't registered. I'm not worried about open container." She takes a swig. She actually hands it back to you.
So I saw you help out Sam. I appreciate that.
She's worried about you too. You're bleeding out up here. You're gonna die soon.
Yep, I am. And I am driving your chariot out of here. And your daughter's too. And I am getting a little woozy.
You actually do that?
Yeah.
Give me a act under pressure and take +1 while you're driving. Or no, don't do that yet. It could work until like you're manipulate, right? You're not actually under pressure. You're trying to convince her to not be a bitch right now.
Right.
So this might work into manipulate. So you do that while you're, or if and when we get to the manipulate someone, you can use the driving +1.
Okay.
Definitely. She says point taken. She says, maybe I could take this vehicle over before you crash us, but we do have precious cargo. She says,
and you could never drive as well as I could, anyways. We can try.
That's how you got out of Florida. Federico wants your head, and if it gets out that I helped you, my head looks back at her head. We'd be right there next to you. What can we do about this? What can we do to get my daughter out of here safely and leave our beef for the next mile?
Well, in terms of your daughter, I think me driving this RV is the best thing to get her to safety. There's nobody in here who can get into and out of a bad situation like I can, especially in a car.
I like the added into. Okay.
And in terms of Federico, I mean, nobody in this car except me and you knows who the hell he is. Nobody in this car except for me and you has anything to do with him. And I don't have a beef with you. I got one with him. No, what you do to help me out has nothing to do with him, as far as I'm concerned. We're just on a road in New Mexico on a little vacation. You don't bring your kid to work, right? You're on vacation.
She nods at the irony of that. She says, yeah, we're going to look at universities.
Oh,
She's a
there
smart
you go.
kid. Roll plus manipulate. Or, well, what is it that you want her to do?
I want her to not shoot me and hopefully heal me.
Okay. But, like, are you looking for, like, a truce to the end of resolving the frog stuff? Or just, like...
Yeah. I mean, that's why I said I'm fine.
Like, there's no beef between us.
No.
Okay. I think you definitely manipulate someone territory, and you have a +1 with the whole driving stunt.
All right. Is it good?
Oh, and I've got my PDF over the window. I can't see it.
Rolled a 9.
9. Is that including the +1?
It's including my +3 for charm and my +1.
Jessica, you are in the back. You're rummaging through your books, and kind of maybe as you're coming forward with what you think would be the remnants of a healing spell, you hear them talking. He's kind of laid out a olive branch. She's looking at her daughter. I think she's telling him, because on a 7 to 9, if they do it, or they'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show that you mean it. If you ask too much, they'll tell you what. If anything, it would take them to do it. So she leans forward and she says, these issues, they're between you and me. I can let it go while she's in harm's way, but no further. But you can tell, Sam, that she's like on that verge of like really not wanting to fight it out with him. She knows maybe more about him than you do. Like you can tell that she's got like a reluctance. Like she doesn't necessarily want to go toe to toe with him, especially while he's driving. And if you can think of some way to help out, you have the opportunity to try and push that 9 up to a 10, where she'll actually maybe bury it for the duration. Would you want to do anything to intervene?
Can I maybe like interject and say that I already spoke to the professor and that we're just a little bit away from our destination, and that like we really appreciate her helping us out back there, and that once everything's taken care of, we'll both go on our own separate ways.
Okay. So you're actually saying like it's not only like it's not going to be forever. We can fix this real soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of putting a little hope at the end of the problem. So yeah, roll plus cool. See if you can add anything to it. Mark an XP. So that doesn't do anything to interfere with Atticus. Atticus, like I said, you know, as you say that, she just kind of gives a curt nod. It doesn't She just seems to kind of wash off. And earlier she had called you a couple of amateurs. Like she seems kind of dismissive of you. In a pinch, when her daughter was in immediate danger, and she was shot in the thigh, like you were enough to get her daughter out of the way. But she really doesn't necessarily think that you have what it takes to get out of the situation. But she does turn back to Atticus and says, "Until my daughter's clear of this, we're okay." And she says, I think she looks to Samantha and says, "Take the wheel. I got to patch him up." And do you guys actually pull over, or is it like a while driving transition? Maybe like that whole sexy scene where like face to face, like sliding across his lap, and then he notices you smell like some sort of weird incense from your occult store.
Gross.
Chuli.
Chili.
Do you let her take over?
Yeah.
She goes to fix you up, and she says, "She go ahead and heal three wounds, unmarked 3 wounds, 3 harm." It hurts. Like she's not doing anything to make it not hurt, but it doesn't inflict any more harm. It's just she's not being tender.
She's not being gentle.
Yeah, and you're not going to unmark the unstable wound, that gut shot with the shredder rounds. She says, "There's nothing I can do for that with a first aid kit. You need a surgical team, or looked like she was doing something. Maybe she touches that sort of thing, but nothing I can do for the gut shot. You're as patch as you're going to get. I got to talk to my kid." And she kind of coldly gets up and leaves you, but didn't do anything to hurt you any worse, and you're left a little better off. If Jessica can get use magic in there to heal you up, we could unmark that unstable. For now, the effect of that unstable is like when you do big arduous things like wrecking the truck, you might take a harm from all that.
Cool.
You're still bleeding around the gauze. Are there any unexpended experience? Like, does anybody have any? I guess you're leveling up, right? Both of you?
Yeah.
Atticus, I'm going to mark the +1 to cool.
I got it already. I did it. This is like the opposite of last week where we never failed. We're failing all the time.
Very cool.
Right.
Okay, let's look real quick at your experience. We'll need to wrap it real soon here. If we look at the end of the week move, end of session, first question, did we conclude the current mystery?
No.
No. Did we save someone from certain death or worse?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say quite a few people are so far in a better situation. Did we learn something new and important about the world? Maybe with the vibrations?
Yeah.
Maybe also that Daria takes the issues with Federico and Atticus more seriously than he expected. Like she isn't only a hired gun, but she's loyal to him in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters? Maybe the relationship with Samantha's father?
Yeah.
Maybe about also Atticus being willing to shoot like and panic at the girl, but then immediately regretting it to the point where like magic is invoked, even though he didn't know that's what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'd be curious as to see if situations come up where Atticus might like ignorantly use magic more often too. I know that's not like the main gimmick behind him, so I'm not trying to push to see that a lot, but there might be situations where it's interesting. So with 3 additional questions answered yes, you both mark 2 XP. And there is a hanging 3, a miss from Samantha out there. So a hard move is happening in the background. There was also another one that happened off screen earlier. Did you mark an XP for that one, Sam? Jessica?
I haven't yet. You said 2 or 3 XP?
2 for the questions and 1 for the hard move at the very end there.
Oh. Then that would get me back at 5 again.
Okay, so you're going to get 1 more level. We'll take that next week because we need to wrap here. And I think kind of as the scene ends, Sam is driving as Atticus is kind of getting stitched up by Daria. Maybe actually she's just gone to sit down by her daughter, and she's walking her daughter through like removing the bullet from her own thigh and stitching her up. And there's people in the back arguing. The professor and the line cook are arguing. The line cook wants to go to Shatner's weapons store, and the professor wants to go to the physics lab, to her lab at the college in town. So kind of as we leave, that's the conversation floating through the Winnebago. I think the credits start to roll, and then they stop, and then as a result of Sam's last 3, they come to just as like a froghemoth leaps into the road right in front of the Winnebago, and like Sam is like tensed up on the wheel, like whether she's gonna jerk the wheel or slam on the brake or what she's gonna do, nobody knows. But the driver is not at the wheel right now, and that's where like, and the credits start rolling again.
Cool.
So I'm gonna stop the broadcast.